that time of year when the Mr. Dome shows up. And Mr. Dome is this guy right here, OT Carp, Tyler Carpenter. And he made a post today on Facebook. My dad is one of the hardest work. Of course, Freddie Carpenter, his dad, Kryptonite Chassis, everybody over there. Wait, somebody just, I guess that doesn't matter. Tyler Carpenter Racing. My dad is one of the most hardest workers I've ever known, and gave us all the blueprint on how to make something out of nothing. Hard work, work ethic. And it's a picture of his car. I never had daddy's money. I have my dad's work ethic. There is a big difference there. I think that racing is one of those things where work ethic can pay off. Obviously, daddy's money can get you a long way, but if you don't have the work ethic, I think that's kind of the biggest thing I would take away from this post is in racing or anything in life, you can have the daddy's money, but if you don't have the work ethic to match it or the work ethic to go along with daddy's money, you're not going to succeed. To whereas if you have the work ethic, but not daddy's money, I think you could succeed in dirt racing. I don't think that's possible in NASCAR and stuff like that, unless you're lucky like Larson, you get into the Drive for Diversity programs and you have all these other things going for you, a female, a person of color, all that. You have to have something else going for you. But if you got that daddy's money, you can kind of just buy your way into the starting lineups of the NASCAR asphalt world. But in dirt, we don't really care if you're a young gun, at least in the late model world. I'm scared right now how I see the sprint car world leaning towards the NASCAR way of doing things and rewarding little kids and giving them shots and calling 28-year-olds and 30-year-olds too old. We understand how that works in stick and ball sports because there's high schools and colleges where talent is actually siphoned through and decided on who's the best of society as a whole. You don't have that in racing because of the monetary factor. That's why dirt racing, in my opinion, is the top of the echelon pinnacle of everything. Because as long as you work hard, you could be a Ricky Thornton Jr., put a modified on a flatbed, work your way to a super late model stardom. Sprint car world, though, I don't know if that's happening as much. They're shying away. They're pushing away the 25, 28, 30-year-olds, it feels like, unless they're bringing their own operation. It's just the younger kids getting shots. And unfortunately, in the racing world, once again, due to the monetary factor, a lot of the younger kids who are racing, even micros or midgets or 305 sprint cars at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 360s, those people are coming from a very privileged position in life to even have a family that has the expendable income upwards of six figures to even put them into those race cars. So I think that it's a big, big issue and very important that dirt racing, and more so speaking to sprint car racing, that you get off your damn privilege high horse and you don't keep on rewarding little kiddies who are good. And when I say kiddies, 16, 17, 18, these are all people who have not punched a work clock to be able to earn their way behind the wheel of that race car, no matter how damn good they are. Now, there's room for those people in dirt racing. I'm speaking of, because NASCAR's too far gone, and I don't want dirt and this form of sport to go too far either. But there's room for those people, but there also needs to be room and a representation for the working class individual. I think one of the biggest things that people are shying away from NASCAR taking off in the Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Sr. era isn't just that a movie literally came to life pretty much word for word, but the fact that it was a young, rich, preppy kid-looking character versus the old working man character. Instead of the working man versus the boss, it was the working man versus the boss's kid type of thing. And that kind of battle gave each side someone to cheer for. The upper class, the lower class, the middle, the hardworking class, everyone in between. And when you become too one-sided, you distance yourself from relatability to the society that is around us, and you lose notoriety. You lose fans. You lose eyes. You lose attention. I think that's why attention is coming to us slowly in the dirt world, because we're not what NASCAR is. People can't relate to these young kids because no one can relate to them. I mean, when we're talking about, like I just got through saying, and it's not crazy to say so, that you probably need about, $100,000 to run a 360 sprint car operation where you're considering the trailers and the motors and the chassis and the shocks. And it's like 80% of America is $1,000 emergency bill away from being homeless. So how can people relate to those people? So once again, I'm just trying to reiterate here back to the daddy's money. I think that if you don't have the work ethic with daddy's money, you're going to go nowhere. But if you have the work ethic without daddy's money, you can, as long as we properly reward people for success. That means, in my opinion, Jade Avedizian winning in a midget should be placed in the same aspect or below, in my opinion, of an accomplishment of somebody like a Dallin Murdy winning the IMCA Super Nationals in an IMCA stock car, or Ricky Thornton Jr., what he did in his mid to early 20s, or some of these Justin Sanders on the West Coast, what they're doing in local regional racing. You know, some of these guys deserve that hype that these younger kids get simply because they were born in a privileged position of life. So that's the bigger issue. That's the reason I address it as much. That's why I try to represent the working class, the locals. I do a lot of stuff with local racers who've never got that national clout because they had to go get a job at 18. They had to go figure out a way to earn $100,000 to throw out the window. And that's just for 360 stuff. I mean, I don't think you'd get on the track for $100,000 in a 410. But for those guys who could be Tom Brady's, Tom Brady talent to Tim Tebow talent, or any talent, is natural. It's God-given. You could go out there and train. I laugh at people when they got a coach or something in racing. It's like you could go out there and beat Tim Tebow and pray to God and practice for hours and hit the gym and be celibate. It don't matter. Tom Brady could come out there half drunk and throw the ball 10 times better than you can. I don't think you could teach talents like that. And I think that there's a lot of guys and gals, mind you, in their 25 to 35 year age range, racing locally in different divisions across the country, who are more talented than our biggest stars that we see in our sport, sprint car and late model combined. Just how our biggest stars in dirt racing are better than the national prowess people in NASCAR because they had another sector of money and privilege that they didn't get to have.
This is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shade. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living